What's up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Ravi Wadden, and in today's video, I want to talk about an amazing lease deal on a 2024 Toyota bZ4X XLE. So you can lease a 2024 for about $169 a month with $4,000 due at signing, or you can lease a 2025 for about $199 a month with the same $4,000 due at signing. So in the first part of this video, what we'll do is we'll head over to Toyota.com and we'll look at the national lease offer in detail. We'll study it. We'll talk about the mileage. We'll talk about the due at signing amount. I'll give you lots of helpful tips and tricks along the way. Then in the second part of this video, what we'll do is we'll run my 1.25% rule of leasing on this bZ4X, and I'll show you why it's an exceptional lease deal in terms of value. And then in the third part of this video, I'll show you why leasing this car makes a lot more sense than financing it. So if you're in the market for a bZ4X, you'll get a lot of value from this video. And if you haven't already, please be sure to like this video and please be sure to follow. But with that, let's go ahead and jump into the computer behind me. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we are on Toyota's website. And as you can see, here are the two bZ4X lease offers. We have a 2024 for $159 a month. I think I said $169 a month earlier. And then you have a 2025 here for $199 a month. And we'll go with the 2025 since I know there is a lot of inventory on the 2025 model. So we'll click on view offer. And what I'll do is actually zoom in a bit to make this a bit bigger. And as you can see here, $199 a month. It's a 36-month lease that requires $3,999 due at signing. Now, the important thing to remember about this due at signing amount is that it doesn't include tax, title, license, registration, and any other dealer fees, as you can see here. So depending on where you live, it could be anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000 more on top of this price. So you're probably looking closer to about $6,000 due at signing here in Seattle, Washington, where I live. Now, another thing about this due at signing amount anytime you're leasing a vehicle is that you want to get this amount as close to zero as possible, because remember, this is just a cash down payment. This $4,000 is a cash down payment, and you want to get this as close or at zero if possible. Now, moving on, you'll see that this lease allows for 10,000 miles a year, but anytime with just about any lease, you can get 12 or 15,000 miles a year as well if you need it. And it's cheaper to pay for the mileage up front rather than pay the excess mileage penalty. If we go even further down and make this a bit bigger, we can read the fine print on this vehicle. As you can see, the MSRP is $41,534. You have a buyout option at the end of the lease for $18,275. And if you go over the 10,000 miles a year, the excess mileage penalty is 15 cents a mile. But as I mentioned, if you know you drive 12 or 15,000 miles a year, just get that up front. It'll be cheaper than paying this 15 cents a mile. And this lease deal, as it stands, expires on April 30th, 2025. Now, in this part of the video, what I want to do is run my 1.25% rule of leasing on this Toyota bZ4X. So I got my handy dandy calculator here, and anytime you run my 1.25% rule of leasing and you get a number over 1.5%, that typically isn't a good lease deal, right? That means that you're approaching, your monthly payment is going to be very similar to what the monthly payment would be if you financed it. And then it really negates the advantages of leasing that particular car. If you get a number under 1.5%, that typically is a good lease deal. And if you get a number under 1.25%, that's a great lease deal. And anytime you get a number under 1%, that's an amazing lease deal in terms of value. And think of it this way, right? Two $50,000 cars can have very different monthly payments, right? If you put $0 down, one car could have a $500 monthly payment, one car could have a $900 monthly payment. So obviously that $500 a month car is a much better deal in terms of value, and that would be a true 1% deal. And so let's go ahead and run my 1.25% rule of leasing on this bZ4X. So what we'll do is we'll take the $3,999 that's due at signing. I'm going to add $2,000 to this amount just to be conservative, to factor in for taxes on rebates, to factor in registration costs, and any dealer fees. So let's just go with $2,000. Depending on where you live, it's probably less than that, but here in Seattle, it's extremely high. That gives us a total due at signing amount of $6,000. And now what I'm going to do is subtract $199 from this amount, since the monthly payment is included in the due at signing amount, and that gives me a true due at signing amount of $5,800. Now what I'm going to do is divide this by 36, since it's a 36-month lease, and that breaks this due at signing amount into 36 equal parts. And then we'll add the monthly payment of $199 back in. and then I'll multiply this by 1.1 to account for 10% sales tax on the payment. And that gives me an effective monthly payment of $396 a month. Now, if I multiplied this by 36, that would be the total cost of the lease, but this is your effective monthly payment. You're essentially taking all taxes, fees, the due at signing amount, and rolling it into the monthly payment, and that gives you your effective monthly payment. Now what I'll do is I'll divide this by this vehicle's MSRP, which as you can see here is 41,534, so divided by 41,534. I'll multiply this by 100 to make it a percentage, and as you can see, I got 0.95%. So this is a sub 1% lease deal, and this is an amazing lease deal in terms of value. And now what I want to do in this part of the video is actually shop for a bZ4X. So there is this 2025 bZ4X XLE near me at Toyota of Olympia. So it's about 50, 60 miles south of where I live. The MSRP on this car is $43,019. And let's actually compare. And what I want to do here is actually show you why leasing this car makes so much sense. So here I have the Drivematch calculator. I have it set to lease. I have the VIN number plugged in. You have the vehicle plugged in. I have the MSRP plugged in right here, $43,019. I have a discount of 5%. I think that's I think that's a doable, achievable discount on this particular car. I did 36 months at 10,000 miles a year. And you'll see that the incentives that I qualify for, hypothetically, would I be, if I were shopping for this car, I qualify for this lease subvention cash, which is $10,000, a $10,000 rebate, right? And then I factored in an acquisition fee of $650, which is standard across Toyotas, a dealer fee of $500, and then I used title license registration fee of $1,500. Actually, let's do that $2,000 since that's what I used earlier. And then I have my Washington tax rate. And if I put $2,000 total due at signing, and this $2,000 includes your registration, acquisition fee, and first month's payment, your monthly payment, if you look over here in the top right-hand corner, your pre-tax monthly payment is going to be $419. Your monthly payment after taxes, after sales tax, is going to be $462 a month with $2,000 down. Now, if I scroll all the way back up and click on finance, you'll see that in terms of rebates, if you finance this car, you only get $2,500 in rebates. As you guys can see, $2,500. So you get $7,500 less in rebates because you don't get the $7,500 EV tax credit. And if you use the same $2,000 registration fee and we use the same down payment of $2,000, you can see on the right-hand side, if we finance your monthly payment, and assuming a 0% APR interest rate, your monthly payment is going to be $641 a month. And ladies and gentlemen, quick math here. If we take that $641 and subtract it by $419, you're looking at a monthly payment of a difference of $222 a month. And if you multiply this by 12, it's $2,664. And if you multiply this by 3, you're going to pay $7,992 more to finance this particular car as opposed to leasing it. And you're going to miss out on that $7,500 EV tax credit. And ladies and gentlemen, that's why I think leasing this particular car makes a lot of financial sense. And that's not even factoring in the negative equity. If you were to finance this car, even at 0%, like the 0% rate at $641 a month, and let's say in 3 years' time you wanted to sell this car, you're probably going to be upside down, I would say at least $3,000, maybe $5,000, maybe even more. Depreciation is the most expensive part of owning a brand new car. And when you lease a car, you don't have to worry about the negative depreciation. Just pay this $419 a month. And you can return this car at the end of the lease and walk away and not have to worry about negative equity. And, if we go back to lease, and even if you did 15,000 miles a year, you'll see the monthly payment goes from $462, and we do 15,000 miles a year, the payment goes to $502, which is still a substantial difference. Financing this car is still $141 more a month. And that's not even taking into account the fuel savings. As you probably know, this bZ4X is a fully electric vehicle. And if you charge at home on a level 2 charger, your monthly electricity bill is probably going to be $50 or $60 a month, depending on how much you drive. So you could easily save $100 to $150 a month, maybe even more if you drive a lot, in terms of fuel savings a month, which which brings the effective monthly payment of this car way down, and really shows you the type of value that EV leases can bring right now. But if you have any questions about this particular lease or leasing in general, let me know in the comment section below. We also have pre-negotiated lease deals on this Toyota bZ4X on Drivematch.com, so be sure to check those out. But with that, I'm going to call it a video. Thank you all for watching. Financial knowledge is power. Please like and follow for more.